The process of manuscript making starts with a calf skin. It's first soaked in water to clean off blood and salt from the preservation, then scraped over a beam to remove any remaining flesh. There's about 150 of these hides in the Book of Kells. The hides then soaked in a weak lime solution to encourage bacteria that create enzymes that loosen the hair and give a burnished effect to the hide when it's dried. This is what causes the small pinprick holes in the Book of Kells, but it also helped the scribes work at such a fine level of detail. The loosened hair is then scraped off the hide, and the hide's rinsed and stretched over a frame called a hearse. When dry, the flesh side is scraped smooth with a blade called illuminated. The secret to insular parchment is to then pour boiling water over the hair side to remove the grain layer. The blade used to do this is much smaller than a modern lunellum. One this size was found when the insular parchment tarbet was excavated. There was also a hearth for heating the water. Once it's dried again, the hide is cut from the frame and is now ready to cut and fold into it without folding. Bifolium makes 4 pages to write on. The writing lines are marked out by pricking and ruling. The quill is made from a goose feather. The nib is cut to suit the style of writing, in this case wedge-tipped for a wide insular majuscule display script. Ink is cooked over the fire by boiling oak bark to release the tannins and adding ferrous sulfate crystals, produced by soaking iron pyrite in water to activate extremophile bacteria, which excrete the substance as they eat the pyrite. It's freezing doing this in January. Although shoes would have been available at the time, it's unlikely that they would have bothered to wear them around a fire. The reaction between the tannins and the ferrous sulfate produces a black ink when exposed to oxygen. Cherry gum is used to bind the ink. For writing, ink was stored in a cow horn. More of a fashion accessory than for any practical reason, as the Irish monks were big fans of the North African desert fathers, who travelled and wrote manuscripts, sticking the end of the horn into the sand when they wrote. It's not as practical to write outdoors in the Irish mud. This writing style is very labour intensive, so they could probably only manage a few pages a day. For complex illuminated pages, the parchment had to be re-stretched over a frame to keep it taut so maximum accuracy could be achieved. In the Book of Kells, the vellum of the illuminated pages appears darker. This is because of the re-stretching. Insular monks made all of their own tools, including lead points for marking out the design. Pages were designed using complex geometric constructions without any measurement, just a straight edge and a compass. Lead is also an important pigment. It can be left in horse manure and vinegar to produce lead carbonate for white, and the lead carbonate can be cooked to produce yellow lead monoxide and red lead oxide. The pigment is bound with egg white for application to the design. Brushes for fine detail work were made from the tail hair of animals in the weasel family, such as pine marten. A bright yellow was produced from crushed arsenic sulfide. A moderate level of poisoning was probably a consequence of any big illuminating project. You can spend 3 days colouring in a few inches of border. The lichen cudbear was collected to produce a range of purple colours when fermented in ammonia for 4 months. As a universal indicator, adding acids or alkalis to it can give a range of tones. The insular scribes were well aware of this. The green, known as verdigris, is created by mixing copper with vinegar to produce copper acetate. One illuminated page produced under medieval conditions takes 4 months of preparation and a month of execution, allowing for time to continue to produce parchment throughout the process. It's not clear how long an entire book takes, but I reckon it takes a few years.